sneaky game. The New York Giants are going to Seattle, taking on the Seahawks. Um, right now, Malik Neighbors concussion from last Thursday game versus Dallas. We'll see if he plays. I don't know if he will play. Um, but regardless, Seattle is facing some serious setbacks on defense. A lot of guys out last week. They should be getting a lot of back. Um, don't know about Leonard Williams. Don't know about Julian Love. Had a quad contusion. We'll see how he is. I don't know if he'll play. And then the big thing that I saw this week with Seattle, they signed Jason Peters to their practice squad. That should tell you everything you need to know about their offensive line right now. Right tackle specifically is a concern for me. They're still at their third string right tackle in Stone Forsythe. Keep an eye on that matchup with anybody on New York's front four. Dexter Lawrence could always wreck the game. I would love to get the spread on this game because I do think New York could put up a fight. I thought with that defense, how hampered they were versus Detroit, you saw it. They got beat up. But offensively, they looked as good as they've been in years. And you got to give credit to Ryan Grubb. I mean, man, Shane Waldron looks bad. That's all I'll say. Shout out Ryan Grubb.
Seahawks are favored by 6. Over-under is at 44. But let's shout out two guys on the offense for Seattle and DK Metcalf, and who would have had over 100 yards, or who would have had well over 100 yards receiving, I should say. And then Kenneth Walker with 2 touchdowns on Monday night, coming back from an injury that hampered him for 2 weeks, looks fresh as ever. And when they're getting this offensive line to push forward, they look really good. I think there's still a couple of questions out there with Geno in terms of the accuracy, but it seems like the connection with DK Metcalf is there. He's a guy that I have taken the over on receptions for, usually set at around 5.5. He's covered it. I believe he's covered it 3 weeks so far this year. To this point, yeah, he's covered it. He's covered it, twice. Sorry, he had 10 and 7. Sometimes he does get lost in the equation there. He had the fumble last game, but I think against the Giants defense, if they're able to fend off Dexter Lawrence, he's a guy that is matchup. The matchup doesn't really matter. I always take him for an anytime touchdown. I like Seattle at -6 at home, but I do kind of lean on the under here, just given the lack of explosive plays that they both had on the offensive side of the ball. But what do you think, Pat?
I mean, I've got to go with Seattle playing at home against a team that has been struggling in the Giants. I mean, a huge aspect of this is going to be whether or not Malik Neighbors is able to play. When you talk about how dynamic and explosive of a player he can be, going up, I mean, they're going to need a Malik Neighbors-esque performance that Daniel Jones is able to lean on if they're going to stay in this game. So I think, obviously, Malik Neighbors is a huge factor. But aside from that, as you said, Christian, the Seattle's offense and Ryan Grubb is going to be the best unit on the field in this game, considering the injuries to Seattle's defense and just the question marks there. So give me Seattle to win this game, especially if Malik Neighbors isn't playing. I definitely hammer that. Seattle's a difficult place to play, especially for a team going across 3 time zones to then face what is, outside of a game against one of the top teams in the NFC last week, has looked like one of the best teams in the NFL. So give me Seattle to roll.
Yeah. I'll take Seattle money line, New York to cover. How about that? Let's go.
Wow, pin that.